I saved $50,000 while earning minimum wage, no inheritance, no lottery, no side hustle, just a broke 20-something buried in student debt who made one decision that changed everything. Want to know how I did it? Let me take you back. Hey everyone, welcome back to Money Mastery. I'm Emma. And if you've ever felt like you're doing everything right but still can't get ahead financially, this video is for you. I've been there, working long hours for minimum wage, barely scraping by, wondering if I'd ever catch a break. But I figured out a way to save $50,000 without a high-paying job. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. No fluff, no unrealistic advice, just real, honest steps that anyone can take starting right now. So if you're ready to stop surviving and start building the life you actually want, stick around. This could be the moment that changes everything. Let me take you to the lowest point of my life. I was 24, working full-time for minimum wage at a gas station just off the highway. Every day felt the same. 8 hours on my feet, dealing with angry customers, restocking shelves, and pretending I wasn't falling apart inside. My paycheck? About $290 a week after taxes. Rent was $650. I was already in the red before the month even started. I remember one night in particular, cold, late, and quiet. I had just gotten home from a 10-hour shift. I opened the fridge. There was half a loaf of bread, a jar of peanut butter, and some expired milk. That was dinner, again. I sat in the dark, coat still on, because I couldn't afford to run the heat. My phone lit up. Payment failed, insufficient funds. Then another buzz, my mom texting, "Everything okay?" I didn't answer. I didn't want to lie, but I couldn't tell the truth either. I felt like I was failing at life. I wasn't lazy. I wasn't reckless. But I was exhausted, broke, invisible, worse than being poor, was feeling powerless, watching your life pass you by while you're stuck in survival mode. And you know what's even harder? Pretending everything's fine when deep down, you're scared. Scared you'll never escape this cycle. Scared you'll always be behind. I remember sitting on that old secondhand couch looking at the ceiling and thinking, is this all there is? That was my rock bottom. Not just financially, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And yet, that moment, right there, was the beginning of everything. Change doesn't usually come in a big, dramatic moment. Sometimes it starts with something small, something almost forgettable. For me, it was a $5 bill. I had just finished another closing shift. It was 3:12 a.m. The streets were dead. I was sweeping the floor when I spotted a crumpled $5 bill under the counter. It was mine. I must have dropped it earlier, but in that moment, it felt like a message. You can either keep losing money or learn to hold on to it. That $5 wasn't much, but for some reason, it snapped something inside me. I thought, what if I actually tried? Really tried? Not some motivational poster kind of try, but like, change my life, try. That night, I couldn't sleep. I Googled, how do people save money when they make almost nothing? How do you stop being broke forever? Can you build wealth on minimum wage? The answers weren't glamorous. There was no magic bullet. But here's what I noticed, again and again, buried in comment sections, blogs, and forums. People who got out of poverty didn't do it by waiting to get lucky. They did it by building systems, by staying consistent, by making tiny, boring, unsexy decisions over and over. And that's when I realized, if I'm going to stay broke, it won't be because I didn't try. So I made a promise to myself. No matter how small the steps were, no matter how slow the progress felt, I was going to figure out how to save money, even on the lowest income. And I was going to do it $1 at a time. That promise, it changed everything. I knew I needed a plan, not a dream, not a hope, a system. Because motivation fades, but systems, They keep working, even when you don't feel like it. So I made 3 rules. Simple, brutal, but they saved my life. Rule number 1, pay yourself first. Before I paid rent, before groceries, before anything, I put money into a savings account. Sometimes it was $20, sometimes just $5. There were weeks when all I could save was $1, but I did it anyway, because that $1 wasn't just money, it was a signal to myself. You come first. Your future comes first. It felt wrong at first, selfish even, but you know what's actually selfish? Living in a cycle of crisis where you can never help anyone, not even yourself. Paying yourself first isn't optional, it's survival. Rule number 2, live like you're broke because you are. I stopped pretending I was broke, so I started acting like it on purpose. No takeout, no new clothes, no random Target runs. I made peace with saying no to happy hour, no to weekend trips, no to trying to keep up with people who didn't even know they were breaking me. I cut my own hair, I hand-washed clothes, I lived off rice, beans, eggs, oatmeal, and frozen vegetables. At first, it felt embarrassing, like I was falling behind, but after a few months, it felt liberating because every dollar I didn't spend was another dollar closer to freedom. And I started realizing, you don't need more money. You need fewer leaks. Rule number 3, track every penny, no exceptions. You want the truth? I used to avoid looking at my bank account like it was a horror movie. Every time I logged in, I flinched, because deep down, I knew I wasn't in control. I was surviving, but I wasn't aware. So I flipped the script. I opened a blank spreadsheet and wrote down every single transaction. Yes, even the $1.29 I spent on vending machine snacks at work. Every Uber, every soda, every late-night impulse Amazon order. Why? Because what you don't track, you can't change. Within weeks, I could see the patterns. I wasn't spending big money, I was leaking small money, constantly. And that's what kills most people's finances. Not major expenses, but death by $1,005 charges. So I became relentless. I made my money visible, so I could finally take control. Those 3 rules, they sound simple, but they built the foundation of my escape. No budgeting app, no raise, no lottery ticket could do what those rules did. They gave me structure, they gave me power, they gave me hope. When you're broke, the big numbers feel impossible. You don't think in terms of thousands, you think in tens. Can I afford this $8 lunch? Do I have enough gas to make it to payday? But here's what changed my life. I stopped aiming for big wins and started stacking small ones. The first month, I saved $89. That's it. Not impressive, not Instagram worthy, but it was the first time in my life I had money left over at the end of the month. So I celebrated, quietly, not with spending, but with belief. If I can save $89, I can save $100. If I can save $100, I can save $200. It became a game. I started competing with my past self. Could I outsave last month? Could I cut $10 more? Could I meal prep 1 extra day? I found joy in the discipline. Satisfaction in watching that savings number tick upward, slowly but surely. It wasn't fast, it wasn't easy, but it was working. I'd come home after a long shift and open my spreadsheet. Seeing that total grow, $800, $1,000, $2,500, it felt like I was building something real. A wall between me and financial chaos. A future I could actually trust. And the craziest part? Once I saw progress, I didn't want to stop. I sold things I didn't need, an old TV, unused clothes, even some furniture. I took odd jobs when I could, babysitting, pet sitting, helping neighbors move. Not because I wanted more stuff, but because I was finally addicted to progress. Saving became my rebellion. My quiet way of saying, I will not live in fear anymore. I will not be a prisoner to my paycheck. I will own my future, $1 at a time. Let me be clear. This journey wasn't some perfect motivational montage. It was lonely, it was exhausting, and at times, it was heartbreaking. There were nights when I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, asking myself, is this even worth it? Am I just punishing myself? Will I ever get out of this hole? While my friends were out having fun, going to brunch, buying new clothes, I was counting coupons, skipping meals, saying no so many times it started to echo in my head. One night, I missed a close friend's birthday dinner. I just couldn't afford it. I told her I had to work, but really, I had $17 in my account, and the bus ride plus meal would have left me with nothing. I cried that night, not just because I felt broke, but because I felt invisible, like my life was passing me by, and I wasn't part of it. There were also moments when I slipped, bought something I didn't need, said whatever, and ordered takeout out of stress. And when that happened, the shame hit hard. I'd spiral, you're a failure. You'll never make it. Just give up. But you know what saved me? I remembered why I started. Not for a car, not for a house, but for peace, for power, for freedom. This journey will test you. People might not understand. You will miss out on things. You will feel tired, discouraged, maybe even humiliated. But every time I thought about quitting, I pictured myself still broke. 5 years from now, still trapped in the same cycle, still scared, and that thought, that version of me, it scared me more than sacrifice ever could. So I kept going, not because it was easy, but because it was worth it. 4 years, 208 weeks, thousands of tiny choices. And then, I logged into my account one morning. There it was, $50,043.17. I stared at the screen for almost 10 minutes, not crying, not cheering, just still. Because that number wasn't just a number. It was every skipped night out, every peanut butter sandwich, every no that broke my heart, every late shift, every early bus ride, every night I went to sleep hungry but hopeful. It was proof. Proof that it worked. Proof that I wasn't powerless. Proof that I had changed. That money wasn't for spending. It was my freedom fund. I didn't blow it on a vacation or a car. I used part of it to invest in a coding boot camp, something I dreamed of but never thought I could afford. That decision, it changed the game. 6 months later, I landed a job making 4 times what I earned at that gas station. But listen carefully, that job didn't make me wealthy. The habits I built when I was broke, those made me rich. Because when you learn to manage $300 a week, you will know exactly what to do when you make $3,000 a week. If you're still watching, I need you to hear this part. You don't need to have a rich family. You don't need to go viral. You don't need a 6-figure salary or some secret connection. You just need a moment where you decide, enough. That moment came for me when I found $5 on the floor and realized I wanted my life to mean more than just working and surviving. You have your own $5 moment. Maybe it's this video. Maybe it's the last message from your bank. Maybe it's the fact that you're tired of being tired. I'm not special. I didn't figure this out because I'm smarter. I figured it out because I was scared and because I was willing to try even when no one was watching, even when I wasn't sure it would work, even when it felt like I was failing. And that's why I know you can do it too. Because if you've made it this far, you're already different. You're already looking for a way out. You already care enough to try. And that's where it starts. You, on camera, soft and warm. You don't need to fix everything today. Just make one choice, one better decision, one quiet act of defiance against the life that's kept you stuck. That's how it begins. If this video moved something in you, if even one part of my story made you say, "That's me," then don't let it end here. Do 2 things right now. First, hit that like button. Not for me. But so, YouTube shows this video to someone else who's sitting in a cold apartment tonight, wondering if they'll ever be okay again. You have no idea who you might help by doing something that simple. Second, comment below and answer this. What's your freedom number? Is it $1,000, $10,000, a paid-off credit card? Say it out loud, claim it. Because when you give your dream a number, it becomes real. I read every comment, and trust me, I remember what it feels like to be in your shoes. And if you're serious about taking control of your money, I made something for you. The exact spreadsheet I used to track every penny and save my first $1,000. No fluff, no paywall, just real practical help, because I wish someone had given this to me back then. And hey, if you're ready to keep building this life with me, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week, I'm sharing tools, stories, and strategies for people like us. People who are done being stuck. People who are ready to build wealth from the ground up. Because this isn't just about money, it's about freedom, dignity, power, and that's something we all deserve.